name's Azhar Siddique and I'm speaking to Holy Moly because I've been fired.
Sorry, I think there's been some kind of mistake.
Yeah.
I thought we would be speaking to Jade.
Yeah, I think actually I will get it for you now, just give me a second. No, yeah, me too as well. I think it was a bit of a shock factor to see Jade still in the process and me get fired, but obviously Logic is unpredictable. What can we do?
Is that what it is? It's just down to his unpredictability?
It is. It depends what he has for breakfast in the morning, to be honest. But I think it is a bit unpredictable as we've seen.
So what did he have?
Definitely not Weetabix. Otherwise, we've been on the ball.
So what's going to be your strategy for this interview?
Strategy is to highlight the plan for the next few minutes. Make sure it's clear. Make sure you're above it, just so we're all reading off the same hymn sheet, and potentially we'll have a good cut.
It's good to know. If it had been me watching it back, the bit that would have hurt was when they ignored your phone call and she just put it on her lap and then they just made faces and you were talking in the distance, and I felt that must have hurt. Did that hurt?
It did feel a little bit uncomfortable, but the point is I was actually getting a clear point across, and unfortunately the word strategy doesn't fit in Jade's vocabulary, hence the reason why she had to move the phone away from me. It wasn't my voice, it was the complexity of the word strategy which confused. So I've now learned that I need to start using the word plan instead, so maybe people can understand it a little bit more.
I know you said this, that strategy was out of her depth, but you also said that she was playing a strategic game. So is she playing a game that she doesn't know the word for?
Absolutely, she's trying to play as if she's a bit blonde, even though she's brunette. Not there's an issue with that at all, because I know some very intelligent women, just to get that clear. But I think she's playing a bit of a strategic game. I think she should have actually brought Laura into the boardroom as well, but obviously, as you're aware, she's undecisive and she panicked and decided who to bring back into the boardroom.
She did. They also said that you huffed and puffed your way through the tasks. Does that ring any bells? Are you a huffer and a puffer? It makes you sound like the big bad wolf.
I know, it's unbelievable, isn't it? And they also make it out as if I don't talk much. Obviously, I don't talk much here, as we're probably aware, but I think that's, I'm not sure, I think maybe they put that incorrectly. I definitely don't huff and puff, I'm not a negative person. And obviously I employ 18 staff in my company and not one of them self and puff, so obviously there's some form of a mistake somewhere down.
There's probably a reason why your employees don't say that you huff and puff.
Yeah, it's a good point, but obviously my employees see me as a colleague as opposed to an MD, so obviously we have that relationship.
Are you sure? Were you checking their Twitter accounts to make sure they weren't saying, "Oh, that's exactly what he's like"?
I check all the emails after they've gone throughout the day as well.
Because they also said that you moaned a lot.
Moaned?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Moaning. They said you were moaning a lot on the show.
That word. No, I definitely don't moan.
They said you were moaning a lot.
I don't moan at all. I can assure you, I do not moan at all.
So everyone always says this, and everyone we interview always says it's down to the editing. Do you think that was it? You were presented badly?
Well, was I moaning?
You looked grumpy.
Grumpy?
Yes.
Grumpy is when you get out of bed with the wrong side. No, I definitely wasn't grumpy. I was clearly pointing out a fact that we needed a strategy, and that's all I said.
There were moments when your face just looked like you just couldn't be bothered with the whole lot of them.
No, I was bothered with a lot of them. I wanted to win the task. Obviously, the ship was sinking, and I jumped in to save it, but unfortunately, it didn't quite work out the way I was expected it to.
Do you think it was a bit of a boring task?
It was actually quite a good task. I enjoyed it, yeah. I've actually grown a kind of a multi-million-dollar business doing exactly the same thing. So if anybody knows this particular task, it's me. And obviously, unfortunately, we ended up in the firing line.
So if this was your perfect task for you, why didn't you put yourself forward as project manager?
Well, as you're probably aware, Lordship actually said for those people that were in project management, they need to put themselves forward. And obviously, Jade stood up to that mark, and I was purely there as a supporting element. Obviously, I was one of the highest salespeople from a selling perspective, so on merit, I should have actually been still in the process, but unfortunately, I'm not.
What I found strange was the actual product selected to be sold. Who still uses water bottles? Hot water bottles?
Well, they were selling. No, that's an easy one. The difficult one is how many people from an ethnic background you know that use fake tan. So we're in a demographic where the ethnicity is either black or Asian, and we have spray tanning, and hello, would you like to buy a spray tan, sir? No, well, brown nails, thank you very much. So essentially, it didn't work. So we were buying the same products for the same area, even though we knew that they didn't sell. So obviously that was no strategy. There was no strategy in place for what products to choose for which area.
You're saying that area were big on hot water bottles?
Fantastically big.
Interesting. I mean, I think also there was a strange selection of products. And to me, when you looked at the first table, it looked as if you'd just been out shoplifting.
It was pretty much like that. It was pretty much get the trolley, just put everything in and let's see what happens. And that was our plan. Our plan was, let's smell what sells, but even at the end of the day, we were still ended up with the same number of products, so obviously we didn't smell what sells.
It just looked like one of those stalls that you sometimes see in kind of dodgy car boot sales where they've got sort of 5 toothbrushes and some perfume. You think that's just all been robbed.
It looked like that, and I think unfortunately our little setup in the shopping centre looked exactly that way as well. There was too much variety on the table.
So I think one of the problems was that you seemed quite submissive in that particular task. I would have expected you to have been more like a shark.
Yeah, good point. But unfortunately, there wasn't any prey for me. It was pretty much down to Jade taking control, and unfortunately I took the bait.
Yeah, I'm not actually interested in that. Just tell me about the sharks.
What, my sharks?
Yes.
My sharks are fantastic. I've got 2 baboon sharks, they're called, bamboo sharks, sorry. They're about 1.5 foot. Lovely fish, and slowly but surely over the next kind of 2 or 3 weeks I'm going to start putting some of the old contestants into the tank with them. So that's my plan, that's my strategy. So I've not fed them for the past 30 days for that particular reason.
Do you prefer fish to people?
Depends on which people. Depends on which people.
Lord Sugar said that Sterling had sent a message to Britain. What message do you think you sent to Britain?
Strategy. That's the message I sent. You need to have a strategy before you do anything in business.
So obviously with this show, you're chosen to appear on it because of your business idea. So what was your business idea?
To sell a range of energy efficient refrigeration products. So basically I had to sell fridges.
And how would you have needed help to sell those fridges?
It's a complicated task, believe me.
Is it?
It is, yes. The industry in particular is the biggest contributors for CO2 emissions. So obviously the refrigerant produced by fridges is a big contributor towards that. So I was introducing a range of energy efficient products which allowed us to reduce the amount of pollution into the environment. So that's what the task was. So it was a business task, but it also was serving a purpose.
Okay. I mean, it's worthy. Not very interesting, but worthy.
It is interesting.
Is it interesting, fridges?
Of course. Have you got a fridge at home?
Yeah, but
Do you find it interesting?
No, not at all.
Do you ever open it?
Although the light is broken, I don't know how to get a new bulb for it.
You change the bulb, but do you actually ever open the fridge?
I do open the fridge occasionally.
So you open the fridge, so you find it interesting because you look inside it, so no?
There's an old bottle of champagne that I've never got around to drinking and a bit of cheese.
But you see, we all find it interesting. Everybody opens a fridge at some point in their life, whether they like it or not, so it is interesting.
You're selling it to me, I like it.
Fantastic.
So, who have you stayed in touch with from the show?
I've stayed in touch with a lot of them, to be honest with you. Whether by kind of email or kind of meeting up with people. I say, the process from a business perspective is business. Outside of the process, I take people on face value, and essentially I keep in touch with a lot of people.
You haven't stayed in touch with Jane, though?
Jane, yeah, it's a good point.
No one stayed in touch with
That's
her.
not nice. That's how I ordered that.
She hasn't heard from any of you.
Have you got a number?
I haven't actually, no.
If I had a number now, I could actually give her a call.
Well, you could give her a message now. Straight into the camera.
Jane, I hope things are well. I hope your business plan's going alright. I hope the baby food's on its way up, and I wish you all the best of luck in the future.
Oh, you remembered the baby food?
Of course I did. I had a lot of conversations with her about the process. We pretty much run in the same industry. We supply equipment, and she supplies food, so...
So who's going out next week?
As I said before, it depends what Lord Sugar has for breakfast.
No, you must know.
I do actually.
Go on.
Biliana.
Come on.
I say it's it.
We've met her already.
Oh, let me think. Michael.
They told us last week.
Sorry?
They told us last week.
Did they?
We knew that you were coming. Yeah.
Really? Fantastic. Even I didn't know that.
All right, last question then. What's your strategy for the rest of the day?
Strategy is drink tea, plenty of caffeine, plan my day out, go to the gym at 6 o'clock, catch my train home, and have a good night's sleep.
Okay, we may call you about that later.
No problem at all. You're more than welcome.